And I'm going to try to tone it down just a little bit because usually I am super excited. And I know most accountants don't get excited about taxes as I do. So I know if you don't know me and you hear me and you're like, this girl's crazy. So I'm gonna tone it down just a little bit. All right. But I want it to be exciting, guys, because this is such an important problem in really the lives of everyone in the US. And it's important to me to show you how you can legally pay zero tax. Like this isn't like some spammy legally pay zero tax. This is like literally you can pay zero tax based on the tax law. Okay. So are you guys ready to get started? All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Is everything good? Let me turn off this noise machine. Everybody, can y'all hear me okay? Oh, my video is not on. Okay. Can y'all hear me okay? Y'all good? Can you see me? Everything good? Okay. So my belief is if I can help entrepreneurs pay the least tax, they will give to what they as entrepreneurs believe in, right? You're inherently philanthropic. All right. So why I do this is because I want to make a difference in the world. All right. My purpose is to love God, love others. And as a business, we don't judge, we don't preach, we just love, and we'll pray for you, and no one's going to be offended for that. All right. So that's why I do this. So very involved in ministry, love building for the kingdom. My ministry is super important to me. So if you get to know me, you're going to know, like, I love all the things. So I want to just give you guys a background of where I came from. So a few years ago, I was sitting across from a taxpayer, and he had tears strolling down his eyes, and he said, "Carlotta, you're about to ruin my life. I've tried doing everything right. I had the best accountant, the best lawyer, and you're still giving me a tax bill that I can't afford." So I want to go back a little bit. I was 14 years old. I was sitting at my dad's bar, and this pamphlet came across the bar in the mail. And I was like, "Dad, what's that?" And he was like, "Carlotta, you should read it." And it looked like this. Anybody remember these? Had my name on it because my mom had passed away a few years earlier, and I actually had to, I guess, file taxes at that time. So it had my name on it. And I started reading this thing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." I loved tax law at 14. So I had this passion. So I went to college. I was 18, and I was going into a big box accounting firm, sitting with my friend, and they told him his tax bill. And I was like, wait, I did that tax return and I came up with a large refund. What's going on? So they bring in the manager from the back, and I said, "What about this? And what about that? And what about this?" And the manager was like, "Oh, yeah, he qualifies for that. He qualifies for that." And I was like, by the time we were done, like, it was several $1,000 refund versus like nothing. And so that manager was like, "Carlotta, you should come to work here." So I went to work there. I actually had to go to a 3-day class because most big box accounting places that don't have CPAs, they only get 3 days of training. Okay. So I went to a school there. I actually taught a lot of the class because I knew more than the teachers. And that started my journey in actually getting to prepare taxes. So obviously I was in college for accounting as well, because I knew I wanted to focus on tax. I love tax. And so in that, while I was working there, I was like, these people are doing a disservice to business owners and taxpayers. I want to work at the IRS because I want to make a difference, and I want to change the industry of accounting because this is ludicrous. See, I really thought going to work at the IRS meant like I could actually change the world. Boy, was that crazy. But I applied there before I ever graduated school. And I didn't get a call. So I went to a big box account, a large accounting firm, one of the top 10 in the country. And I learned so freaking much. But one day I got this call. They were like, Carlotta, yes, we would like to set up an interview. I'm like, who is this? This is the Internal Revenue Service. I was like, this is like the best day of my life. I get to go and interview with the IRS. So I went to that interview. Guys, it was 2 years. 2 years I applied for this job. 2 years ago. I was like, this was out of the blue. I was like, this must be a God thing. So I went, I got on and I was like, yes, I can change the world of accounting once and for all. Do y'all think that actually happened? See, when I got there, I systematically started running people's lives. Is the IRS meant to run your life? Absolutely not. But when you start a business, they don't say, hey, Carlotta, you just applied for an EIN, and this is what you need to know about being a business owner. They don't do that. They say, go find you an accountant. And see, the accountants of the world, well, they don't really have time to sit down and say, hey, Billy, this is what you need to be doing. They are just pretty much, I feel like, almost employed by the IRS. And I used to say that with anger, but now I say it with compassion, because really I left the IRS. I started an accounting firm and I was like, I'm going to be so different. And what happened? What happened was I started being controlled by deadlines and accounting deadlines and tax deadlines and more deadlines and more deadlines. And although I built all of this system to be different, it was a lot, and I could not grow and help the world because I can only help a few hundred people. All right, guys, your accountant wants to help you, but honestly, they just don't have time. So going back to my time at the IRS, I was sitting across from that guy. I ruined his life. A few months later, I was sitting at a kitchen table with a business owner, and he told his wife to go get the gun. The gun, guys, the gun. I am in the middle of nowhere, sitting in this guy's kitchen, and he is so distraught by this audit that he thinks that's the option. Obviously, I hightail it out of there. He had been making these subtle threats all week, like, you know, if you disappear, like no one would find you. And I'm like thinking he's joking, right? No, he was not joking. A few months later, one of my friends was in the middle of an audit, and she came over and she was like, Carlotta, did you see the news this morning? I was like, no. She said, go look up this on the news website. So I went and looked it up, and one of her clients or taxpayers was in the middle of an audit, and he killed his wife and then himself. And guys, I know that this isn't the norm, right? But guys, this is why I do what I do, because taxes are freaking scary. Everyone hates the IRS, and you pay way too much because you don't know what to do. So I am here to make that difference. All right. I'm an ex-IRS agent. Obviously, I trained accountants. I trained other IRS agents. I did a lot with the IRS. I worked there for 8 years. I'm an enrolled agent. I have accounting degree, a finance degree. I've done it all. I've been studying tax law now since I was 14. This says 20 years and I'm 38. So lots of more time than that. I love what I do and it is my purpose. All right, guys. So these are my kids. I'll also do this for them because I want to make sure that I leave a legacy for them. This is my literal favorite video of all times. Now, I don't care if you like either one of these people. I don't care because I don't care about politics, but I want you guys to listen.
Or maybe he doesn't want the American people, all of you watching tonight, to know that he's paid nothing in federal taxes, because the only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So if he's paid zero.
That is literally the best video of all time. Can anyone tell me why Trump is so different as a president than any other president that we've had in recent years? What made him different? What is different about him that would make him not have to pay tax? And it's not like, this isn't a political question. What is it about him that makes him different? Does anyone know? I want y'all to like talk up so I'm not the only one talking here. Does anyone know why he can actually not pay tax? He's an entrepreneur, guys. He's a business owner, okay? It's not because he was the president. It's because he,
or maybe he.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that again. It's because he has businesses, all right? So let's talk about what we're going to cover here. How to make your first 100K profit tax-free by owning your own business. How to make almost everything a legal tax deduction. And how to pay tax like Trump. Whether you like him or not, we want to pay tax with him because he is mega wealthy and he doesn't pay tax. If you want to pay tax, and when I say he doesn't pay tax, guys, you understand he pays tons of employment taxes. He pays tons of real estate taxes. He pays tons of all the other taxes. What I'm talking about is income tax. So how many of you guys would like to pay tax like Trump, even if you don't like Trump? Any of you? Guys, and if you like to pay taxes, just give them a donation. Most of you know, like you can give them $3 on your tax return. Like you could give them more. They'd probably accept your donation. How many of you want to pay tax like that? All right. I always say if I was Trump's tax strategist, he would have got a refund because he paid $750 in taxes and I surely could have got him some earned income credit. 99% of the tax law is devoted to government deductions and credits for business owners and investors. Tax strategy is simply finding the deductions that you qualify for and taking the necessary steps to deduct the expense or take the credit on your return. It's also being proactive about purchases, investments, etc., so that you can take advantage of the maximum deductions or credits available to you. All right, so how many of you are like, I wonder if I should purchase an Airbnb or a long-term rental, or if I should purchase a vehicle, or if I should purchase a piece of equipment, or should I, like all these things you're constantly asking yourself if you're a business owner, these are the things that you need to think about with tax strategy, all right? So who can benefit from tax strategy? The tax code is written to benefit pretty much everyone, but employees making over $30,000, okay? So if you're an employee and you're making over $30,000, you need to start a business. So here's the deal. You need to be a real estate owner with multiple properties, an Airbnb owner, a business owner. Yes, MLM is a business. Yes, a side hustle is a business, a farm owner, a 1099 contractor, anything where you're paying self-employment tax. All right. Does everyone know if they're a business owner or not? Anyone not know if you're a business owner? and you're like, I wonder if this would qualify me as a business owner. All right. Most of you guys are business owners. Awesome. All right. So did you know the IRS wants you to use tax strategy? When I say this, people are like, oh, what? Here's the real truth, guys. As a business owner, the IRS uses tax incentives to control your moves. So what do I mean by that? If they want you spending on physical goods, they give you depreciation incentives. If they want you to hire more employees, they come out with an incentive for more employees. Whenever COVID happened, what did they do? They came out with tons of tax credits, right? Our tax system is used to guide business owners and real estate investors down the path that they need to go to provide housing, jobs, and other opportunities for the employees. The rich, like Amazon and Donald Trump, they have entire teams of people ensuring that they use these incentives. And that is why many people believe the government is to blame. But listen, guys, you can use these incentives too, and the government wants you to do it. Okay? Like when they want more solar power, what do? And guys, this doesn't matter who is in office. Okay? When they want more solar power, how many of you know what they do? Tell me what they do. Anybody? Let me pull up my chat so I can make sure people are responding. Yep, they give credits to buy solar. What about whenever they want electric cars? What do? I'm waiting on you guys. Give credits for electric cars, like the Tesla credits and credits for those type of vehicles. What do they do whenever they want you to hire employees during Corona? Alicia, I'm counting on you because you're the only one talking here. They gave credits. They gave employee retention credits. What do they do whenever they want you to hire people that are been on unemployment for a year, or get SNAP benefits, or get maybe they're wounded veterans? What do? They give you credits, like everything. They just give you more and more and more and more credits. So you already qualify for these credits, guys. But do you think the IRS is going to say, hey, Carlotta, you had blah, 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 you should take this credit? No, they don't. They're not in the business of helping you pay less tax. They only care if you underpay taxes, not overpay taxes, okay? All right, so let's talk about this. Think about this. $10,000 in tax savings is comparable to $70,000 in gross income. So for every $7 in gross income you make, it's equal to $1 in tax savings. Now, Carlotta, how'd you come up with that? Okay, so if I make $7, I have to pay overhead, I have to pay production costs, I have to pay employment taxes, I have to pay payroll taxes, or payroll, I have to pay all the things, all right? And normally you will have about $2 left if you're at that 30% margin, right? Then if you have to pay taxes, that could take up to half of that. Now, I'm going to tell you, in my business, I'm not even at a 15% profit, at a 30% profit margin. So mine's probably like for every $10 I pay, or I'm making gross income, I pretty much have $1 left. This is conservative, guys. So if I can save you $1 in taxes, and that's equal to $7 to $10 of income, would that not be amazing? That's a raise, guys. All right, so this is it. This is how to make your first 100K profit tax-free. So I'm going to go through these pretty quick, and then I'll go into them more in depth. So this is an example. $5,000 business use of the home, $15,000 in vehicle expenses, $3,000 in cell phone, $1,000 in the internet at home, $1,000 in clothes with your logo on it, $6,000 in the Augusta rule, $24,000 in paying your kids. And these are all expenses that you're going to have whether you have a business or not. $5,000 in meals, $5,000 in workations, $5,000 in computers, electronic cell phones, all the things you buy at the store to make your life easier, the AirPods, all the things. $5,000 in normal furnishings and furniture for your office, guys. Like, I would buy this stuff whether I had an office or not. I probably bought that stuff before I had an office and then turned it to business use. $10,000 in health insurance and $15,000 in personal items turned business. All right. We're going to go through these things more in depth, but do you guys get the picture? Your first $100,000 in business should really be tax-free because you're turning personal things that you're already paying for into business expenses. So let's play a game. Savannah is going to put a link in the comments. And it is going to go to a survey that is going to tell you your estimated tax savings from just 4 of these strategies. Okay. So you saw there's lots more than 4, but I want this to be super easy and interactive and something you guys can learn from. Okay. Now, I go through these slides pretty quickly because this is not about you figuring out how to do all of this stuff yourself, though I'm going to tell you how to do all of it yourself. All right. Because I want you to know what all is involved in it. So if you want to do it yourself, you can. At the end of this webinar, you will be able to do everything that I just have told you about. Okay. And I'm going to tell you everything to do. Is that fair? Go good? All right. So everybody, please go and pull up the calculator and tell me when you all have it all. There's 30 people in here, so I need 30 responses that you guys have found the calculator. Tell me if you found the calculator. All right. Alicia, everyone is confused about what they can write off and what they can't, which is why we're doing this. Everybody is like, is this a write-off? So I'm going to tell you how to fix that. All right. All right, everybody. Everybody got the calculator. Don't submit the calculator yet. Don't submit the calculator. Nick, you can use just estimate, okay? You don't need to know everything. You just need to go along with it. And if you don't know, you can skip it, okay? But don't fill out the calculator, guys. If you've already submitted, start it again because I need you to go through it with us. All right. Okay. So are y'all ready? All right. The winner is going to get a $100 gift card. Kelly, if you have a question, just put it in. I saw you raise your hand. Just put it in the chat. Does everybody need help with the calculator? If anybody needs help, put it in the chat so we can. Okay, great. All right. So this is the deal. Phase 1, strategy. Alicia, I'm so glad you think this is fun. Like, who wants a boring accountant? I was telling my friend earlier today, she was like, Carlotta, you need to talk slower and be less excited. And I'm like, nobody wants a boring accountant. So I actually have brought it down about 10 notches today. Usually I am just so excited to talk about tax strategy. I'm up here dancing, but I'm not doing that today because I know I need to bring it down a few notches and go a little slower. So that's what I'm doing. All right. So let's talk about this. Phase 1 is the Augusta rule strategy. So this is where you can legally rent your home to your business. Up to 14 days a year, your business can rent your home from you personally, and it's a tax deduction to the business, tax-free income to you. Now, Carlotta, where did this come from? Why would the IRS ever allow this? Well, in Augusta, Georgia, and this is called the Augusta rule because it came out of Augusta, Georgia, they used to have or they still do probably have a golf tournament. In that golf tournament, people come in and people would rent their homes to these people coming in for the golf tournament. And so the IRS made this rule. Obviously, somebody had a really good lobbyist. And so the rule is if you rent your house for less than 14 days a year, you don't have to include the income. Sounds awesome. Well, in this strategy, the business rents your home from you, and it's a business deduction because it's a business expense, but then you personally don't have to claim it as income. So what can you use your home for? You can use it for business meetings, photo shoots for the kids if they're in your ads or brochures. You can use it for podcasts if you also can't use your home office. This is in addition to your home office, okay? So this is what I want you to put in. I want you to put in the rental value that your house would bring if it was an event center, okay? So like if you would use your whole home and you would have to get that, as an event center or a high-end hotel or something like that, what would that rent for? And guys, you can't, let me just be clear, at a hotel, you cannot rent a couple of rooms and a living room and a kitchen for less than $500. So if you don't know, or you're like, I'm going to be super conservative, just put in $500. Okay. Can everybody put that in? All right. Then underneath, it's going to tell you, hold on just a second. I missed a part. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to pull this up right quick so I can share this with you guys. Savannah, can you put the calculator up again? $500 per night, Alicia, correct. At least, guys. I mean, some people, it would be a couple of $1,000. Okay, so first of all, you guys need to put your name and email in there. Here, this is really just so you guys can be in the drawing, and so we can say, okay, we know that we can save you this much money. All right. How are you registered with the IRS? Now, guys, this question gets a lot of people tricked up. So if you file an S-Corp, just select S-Corp. If you don't know what you file, select Schedule C, because that's what you file. Okay. If you're filing it on your personal return, it's a Schedule C. If you're filing it on your business, in Schedule C is like 1099. If you have a farm, just put Schedule C. If you have MLM, if you have any of the things, just put Schedule C. If you know you file an S-Corp, put S-Corp. Does everyone know how they're registered with the IRS? If you don't know, raise your hand, or don't raise your hand, put in the chat and I will tell you what to put here. Okay. Does everyone know what they are? So if you're sole proprietorship, that's a Schedule C. So you're going to put here, you can put Schedule C, file Schedule C on my personal return sole proprietorship. Either of these things are going to get you the same answer. All right, Kelly, you raised your hand. You want to, I don't know if we can bring you up to speak, but can you put in there what you think you are, or like what your circumstance is? Mike, I know you said that you weren't really sure and you didn't have all the information. Do you know at least what, oh, that's okay, Kelly. Do you know at least what you're registered as? Does everyone know what they're registered as? Okay, I've got 3 people that are pretty interactive, and the rest of you, I think you're asleep. Okay, Christina, are you a business? Do you have any kind of business? Okay, so yeah, so S-Corp, LLC is Schedule C, correct? Unless you know you're an S-Corp. So Christina, you're a Schedule C. So you're just going to select, you can select either one of these, Schedule C or Schedule C. Either one will be fine. All right. So guys, if you accidentally put your estimated income after expenses for your business before you selected this, you're probably going to have to refresh and redo it, because it will take away one of the boxes. So you're probably going to have to refresh if you accidentally put in what your estimated income was before you filled out what you're registered with the IRS. So just telling you, because you'll get an error. All right. Does everyone know what their estimated income after expenses is for your business? Guys, this is an estimate. It doesn't have to be correct. Like 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, 20 million. Put it in there what you think it is. Right? Does this mean after write-offs? Exactly. It's after your expenses. Net income after expenses, after all your write-offs. What is that income? Okay. So you're going to put, Kendra, probably put what you're going to make this year. If you had a loss last year, no profit in 2021, what is your estimated profit for 2022? Because I'm going to tell you, if you have no income, you don't even need a strategist, right? Like, this isn't going to save you any money because you don't pay taxes. So so what I would do in order to understand this is really put in there what you think you'll make if you're not paying taxes right now. That way you can kind of see what this is going to do for you. Of course. Yes, guys, this will be up. So if you can't do it along, but it's really fun if you do it with us, because we're going to talk about the estimated savings. But if you can't do it right now, you can do it later when you're not in the car. I don't want you having a wreck. All right. So how much would your house or apartment rent for a day? $500 is the minimum. So did everybody put something in there? And if you did, can everyone tell me what your Augusta Rule savings says? How much does it say it's going to save you just for that one strategy? $1,750, $3,500, $1,750. Awesome. Awesome, guys. $8,750. Awesome. Okay. All right. So, and remember, this is per night on the house. How much would it rent for daily is how much it would rent for. So the Augusta Rule savings will tell you what that amount is. All right. Next, are y'all ready to move forward? Good job on that, guys. All right, let's go back to, hold on. Don't fill out the next one until we get there. All right. So how do you implement this strategy, Carlotta? Why does it say I'm muted? I'm not muted. Okay. Next. All right. View. I'm going a little slower, guys, because I don't want y'all to, usually I zoom through this and then everyone's confused. So I'm trying to slow it down. All right. So this is what you need to do this strategy, because everybody's like, this saves me a lot of money. I want to do this strategy. So you need the comparison documentation to prove fair rental value. You need an invoice for each day that you rent the property and include what the rented space was used for. You need a 1099 to yourself from your company. And you need to include the expense on your business and include the income on your personal return with an exclusion for the Augusta Rule. That's how you do that strategy. All right. All right. This is the next one. Did you know you can pay yourselves up to, right now it's $12,900, but I just say $12,000 each year to work for your business. By hiring your kids under the age of 18 through a family-owned sole proprietorship or partnership, you may pay and deduct wages paid to them in your business without paying payroll tax. Also, as long as you pay the kids less than the standard deduction amount, they don't need to file a tax return or pay tax. Okay, so what can they do? And so always get asked. Now, obviously, they can do light administrative work. They can come up here and work. My 15-year-old works in our business, but that is the hardest way to do this strategy. The easiest way to do this strategy is for you to use the kids in your advertising, in your promotional materials, in all the things in your business. Make them almost like your Gerber baby. All right. So the Gerber baby makes $40,000 a year. So I only pay my kids $12,000 a year. All right. And they are front and center of my business. I think I took out some of the slides that show them, but I'm going to put them back in there. But I took them out for today because I wanted to shorten this because I knew I was going to have to slow down and go a little slower. So does everyone understand what your kids could do for you? If you run Facebook ads, very easy. If you don't run Facebook ads, put them into some Facebook ads, very easy. All right. Okay. So let's go back over to our form and put in here how many kids you have under 18 years of age. And then tell me what your tax savings of your children are. So you guys put in the comments what your So social media posts, I would rather use them in something like that's a social media post that's boosted. I really want a little bit of money behind it, just because I want it to be business, right? Like it doesn't need to be like, oh, because I put my kids in my Facebook all the time. Like that's not really business. But if I put them on my business page and put a little bit of money behind it, then now that's a business type expense. If I put them on my promotional materials, that's a business expense. Like, so if you have like an insurance agency, you could put them on like calendars you make for your clients. If you've got a doctor's office, maybe you're a dentist, you could put them like on your billboard with pretty teeth. If you have a doctor's office, you could put them on, you know, I have a doctor that uses his on, he has like a thing for older people, like that's his niche. And so he'll have his kids like playing around and he'll run Facebook ads to it. You know, it's really just using them in your company as the face of your company. Okay. So some of you guys obviously, it has to be kids under 18. All right. So some of you guys are saying like 6,000, 3,000, 9,000. If you're filing separately, can both people have separate businesses do 14 days? If you file separately, yes. Can you pay yourself if your business took a loss? You wouldn't want to pay yourself if your business took a loss. So you would put 0, but we're not there yet. So, okay. All right. Any questions on that? All right. So how many guys have you ever heard of that before? Most of you, probably. So what I found is that most people hear about things, but they don't ever implement them because they don't have time to implement them. You can't pay to get this, to not have to pay employment taxes. It has to be under 18. Yes, you can still pay your kids, but it doesn't give you the same tax savings. Okay. So I would just put 0. All right. So you guys have heard about it, but let's talk about what you have to do to make that happen. So you have to create a family management company. You have to have the EIN. You have to have contracts between your main company and the family management company. You have to do payroll reports, 944, W-2s, labor logs, and a contract with the kids. All right. So this is why even accountants that talk about it or strategists that talk about it, they're not going to implement it for you because it's a lot of freaking work. But we have a solution for that, and we'll talk about that later. Because really, entrepreneurs do not have the time to do any of this stuff. So I'm telling you guys all about it because I know you don't have the time to do it, but I want you to know what you're doing in case you do want to do it yourself. So you can totally DIY this, but we actually have a solution for this at the end. All right. All right. So next, this is the S-Corp election and reasonable compensation. Let me pull this up. So as business owners, most business owners have an S election when they come to us. Now, several of you on this webinar right now don't. You're a Schedule C. But some of you do, some of you don't. So this is the S-Corp election, but also reasonable compensation. So if you guys are a Schedule C, this is both of those in one. If you guys are an S-Corp already, this is really the reasonable compensation. So most people do not use their S election to the best benefit. Reasonable compensation is your key to paying the least tax possible with the S-Corp strategy. What I have created is a 4-factor method developed in-house based on a variety of tax regulations, case laws, and IRS agent experience. Okay. This method of determining how much you should pay yourself through wages from your business is calculated to save you the most money in taxes legally possible, while at the same time keeping you out of hot water with the IRS. Now, on this estimator, it is not the 4-factor calculation, but it is a combination of a couple of the factors to bring you guys so you guys can get a idea of how much this would save you. So I want you guys to put in here, you're going to go, you've put everything in there, probably except your wages if you're an S-Corp. So on your wages, you're going to put what you're paying yourself through your W-2. Now, if you're a Schedule C, you're not going to put that in here because you don't have that yet. All right. So I would like everyone to tell me what their Schedule C partnership / S corporation tax savings is. 1506. Oh, 15,606. Wow. 9945. Who else we got? That's amazing, y'all. 2395. 0. And that's okay, Angie. That just means that you haven't probably made the money or you're not paying yourself correctly yet. So that's not a bad thing. No, Alicia, this is not the one with the Schedule C. If you'll put in here, if you selected S-Corp, it should ask you right here how much you pay yourself on your W-2 for wages from your company. If you don't pay yourself, then this will probably be 0 if you're an S-Corp and don't pay yourself. If you've lost money, it'll be 0. But those are the only times it should really be 0. All right. So does everyone have either reasonable compensation tax savings, which is, okay, Danielle, we'll look at it more closely, but does everyone have a reasonable compensation tax savings or a Schedule C tax savings? Chrissy, put both W-2s. So Danielle, what was your net income? Okay. So Alicia, if you have 0, then you elected the wrong thing. So refresh your screen and make sure that you select LLC. Okay. Danielle, what's your after expense? Okay. So Danielle, if you're 24,000, that's why it's 0, because you really don't need to take advantage of this strategy yet. It's coming, but we wouldn't want to do it until you're probably above 30 to 35. So that might be why. Alicia, what was your net? Alicia, if you'll give me what you're, okay. So that's why, Alicia, if you're under 30 and you're a Schedule C, we won't want to do that strategy yet. Good job, Christy, 10,000. Okay, Alicia, that's still, but you're under, so your net is what we're looking at. Yeah. Okay, Danielle. Yep. Awesome. Okay. All right. So, you guys can see the power of this. All right. So, how do you do this? What is this? Well, preparing and filing your Form 2553, which is an S-Corp election, is part of this. Some of you have already done this, some of you haven't. But then the annual reasonable compensation calculation by a professional needs to be done every year. You also need a report to prove your reasonable salary in order for you to save the most tax using the strategy. And obviously, you would have to set up a payroll provider if you guys would do this strategy. So some of you guys are doing it, some of you aren't using it to the best of its ability. All right. Okay. Next, and this one's not on there, but do not hit submit yet, guys. We still have one more. All right. So let's go, and I'm going to move on. Do not hit submit. We're not done yet. All right. So next is phase 1 strategy plans. We all need retirement because we don't want to work forever. How many of y'all want to work forever? Not me. Actually, I do, because I love what I do. But yeah, I most of us don't. Somebody was telling me earlier today, they're like, I'm going to sell my business and go relax on the water somewhere. And I'm like, man, I always ask God why I can't be the lazy Christian. And then I'm like, I don't do that anymore because I know why. Like, he's like, your ministry is happening, so you don't get to go rest on the water. All right. For instance, one of the strategies we recommend for our clients who make several $100,000 a year is a Section 199 optimization strategy. Sometimes we use retirement plans to optimize that savings, but it can result in a 70% tax savings for $1 in, $1 out. So Other than that, and I kind of skipped a part, we don't usually use traditional retirement accounts unless we need help with another strategy. That's why I said that. So a lot of you guys have heard about 401ks and SEPs and all the things, right? We don't really use those strategies unless it relies on another strategy, but we do calculate that because we know a lot of you will probably want to use that. What we focus on mainly is real estate because, well, we know that real estate's kind of the next step. Once you start your business, you start investing in real estate, and then next you start investing in other companies. Guys, our focus is growth. So we normally are going to teach what we do ourselves and then also give you the options of what you guys feel comfortable with. So how many of you guys know you need retirement and you're cool with 401k, SEP, Roth, traditional IRAs, and you're like, yes, I need that? And how many of you are like, I need some real estate because I want to build a portfolio focused on real estate, not the stock market? And guys, both are fine. It's all about what you want in life. It's not about what Carlotta wants. So both of these, though, need to be calculated for you. So you do have the option of either one. And we do that as well. But we're not going to put that in. We're not going to put that in here. But guys, so you do stocks, real estate's what you're doing. Okay. How many of you are like, I want to do 401k, SEP, Roth? Definitely, I would want to do it if it saved me 70% on a dollar in tax savings. I think everybody would do it at that point. I know I do. I'm like, okay, I don't even like stocks and bonds, but I will invest it if it means that it saves me 70 cents. I can give myself 70 cents, or I can give myself $1 or give the government 70 cents. Yeah, exactly. I want to do whatever the best option ROI is, exactly what I am. So I will do the traditional retirement plans if it's a good tax strategy, and otherwise I'm going to do real estate. Okay. All right. So how do you implement this? You research and compare the options, you do the tax savings calculations, you choose which type of retirement plan is most suitable for you, and you set up the plan that you choose with the service provider, or you have someone else do that for you. But that is what you would do if you were DIYing it. All right, next is an accountable plan. So once you guys have an S corporation, which is amazing for tax strategy, but doesn't allow, once you have a S corporation, you're not allowed to write off things like your home office, your mileage if you own the vehicle yourself, your internet, your cell phone at home, unless you have what's called an accountable plan. Most people do not know this. So in an audit, if you did write those off, they get disallowed unless you have an accountable plan. Now, what is an accountable plan? Accountable plan is just like a 401k plan or a health reimbursement plan or any of those plans that actually have a plan document that you sign and they are implemented into your business. So you have to have one of those in order to take advantage of this. All right. So it is crucial for you guys that have an S corporation to have an accountable plan. Otherwise, you lose out on a lot of expenses or you are deducting them illegally. So you need to, in order to do this, you need to have the mandated amendments to your operating agreement accepting an accountable plan. You need to have the plan document, the actual accountable plan document, and you need to have the monthly reimbursement reports to your company for the expenses you include on the accountable plan. So many of you guys know, like if you work at Walmart, that you have to fill out a reimbursement report to get reimbursed. And you might think that you only do that because because they're paying you, but that's not it. In order for them to deduct that with the IRS, then they have to make you fill that out. Now, there's also something called a plan that's non-accountable. And if you have a non-accountable plan, then you have to include that on your W-2. We don't want non-accountable plans. Some people do have non-accountable plans, which is where they give you a set amount and they don't make you fill out a reimbursement report. That is what the IRS will classify yours as if you don't have a plan, which really sucks. We don't want that to happen. So Jennifer said accountable plan, crucial to have that. Mandated amendments have document monthly. Okay. I don't know. That was just, oh, okay. I don't know what Jennifer's saying. Yep. I guess she's just taking notes. Exactly, Jennifer. All right. Anybody have any questions about that? What? Why are y'all laughing at me? Okay. Am I being slow enough? Awesome. Okay, guys. All right. So next we're going to talk about how can I deduct that? And most of you guys, when you go to your accountant, then you are asking if something is a deduction. How many of you guys ask if something is a deduction? That's a no-no, because what's your accountant going to say if you say, is this a deduction? They're going to say, that is a red flag. No, that's not a deduction. That's crazy. Why would you ever think that's a deduction? So your new question is, how can I make that a deduction? All right. Yeah, Nick, you need a new accountant. How can I deduct that? All right. So this is how to make almost everything a legal tax deduction. Obviously not your groceries or anything that's like you not really a tax deduction, right? But like this is how you turn things that may be a little personal into a business deduction legally. We are not trying to cross any lines. We're not trying to do things that are not up to par here. But stop asking if something is a deduction and start asking how to make it a deduction. Don't buy things you don't need just for a tax write-off, guys. How many of you, your accountant tells you at the end of the year that you need to buy 47 trucks in order to not pay taxes? That is not tax strategy. That is ludicrous, is what that is. Figure out what you need to do and figure out how to make it a write-off. Walk the line, don't cross the line. It's not worth it. We're not trying to get in trouble. We're literally just trying to use the tax law for our advantage because that's what it was meant for, because they use our money to grow the economy. All right. The tax system is set up to reward business owners and investors. It's not meant to hurt you. So these are the things that I went through, and I did take some of the things out that I normally do. So if you want to know how to deduct a firearm or something else, you probably just need to buy the package, because I don't want to be like crossing the line for anybody that don't like guns. So I did calm it down a little bit. But the motorhome is something that I wanted. I feel like everyone on here can understand. I wanted this for business and my family. Okay. So how did I make this into a tax deduction? And I wrote off the entire motorhome last year. I used the motorhome for business travel. Now, does this mean my kids can't go with me? Absolutely not. Does this mean that I have to do business? Absolutely. So what I do is I will plan a trip. So we just got back, and I didn't take my kids on this trip, but I could have and deducted this as well. I just went on a trip to Orlando for a marketing event. And at that, we stayed at Disney World, and I literally stayed in marketing courses all day long. Now, I cannot deduct my kids' trips to the theme park, but if I took them in the motorhome, I could deduct that because it's not any extra if I take one person in the motorhome myself, or if I take 100 people. Well, I can't fit 100 people, but you know what I'm saying, like 10. If they stay in my hotel room, it's not going to be any more expensive if all of us stay or one of us stay. Food, obviously I can't deduct their food unless they are coming for business as well, which you're going to figure out that I also like to include my kids in my advertising. So I can totally see a trip in the future going to Disney World with little shirts on saying tax deduction 1, tax deduction 2, and doing a whole film at Disney World. And that would be a tax deduction. Why? Because that would be a YouTube channel. Do you guys see where my brain is going? It's not that I'm doing anything wrong, but I don't know. Some of you guys have a lot of kids, so I'm sure you know. These kids watch freaking YouTube all day long. There is this little boy on there named Ryan, and he makes $75 million a year. If you don't think that his parents are writing off his trips to Disney World, you are wrong. He makes money off that channel, and you can totally write that off. Now, we are building a YouTube channel as well called How Can I Deduct That? If you don't think that that is going to bring me an income, you're wrong. Do you think I'm going to deduct my kids being there, being silly and asking, how can I make that a tax deduction? Yes. Now, that is crucial to my business, right? Like it goes in line with my business. It's a tax show. It is going to bring me in more clients. That's why it's a tax deduction. If I'm just recording my kids out playing and putting it on YouTube and it's not bringing me in any income and it has nothing to do with anything, that's not a tax deduction. All right. I know I went off on a tangent there, but I want you guys to understand you have to quit asking if something is a tax deduction and ask more along the lines is, how can I make it a tax deduction, or how can I make this more in line with my business or make this relevant? It is a little bit more work, but guys, if you train your brain to always think of how to make something a tax deduction, because right now, I guarantee you, most of you have your brain trained to say, can I deduct this? Can I deduct this? Can I deduct this? Like, no matter what it is, you're like, if you're in business, you're like, I pay a lot of freaking taxes. Can I deduct this? You just have to change your mindset a little bit to say, how can I deduct this? So it's not really any harder. It's just a different question. All right. Okay. Next, I love to give. It is my love language is giving. I love it. I also love ministry. I do a lot of ministry, and I try to find ways to make my ministry deductions into advertising. Why do I do this? Because an advertising expense is much more, there's more deduction to it than a charity expense. So on charity, it's subject to 50% of your income. You have to get over the 24,000 for itemized deductions. It's a lot harder, whereas advertising comes off the top. So my church camp wanted me to sponsor their golf tournament. They advertise for me. I pay them to advertise. I take it as an advertising deduction. The local softball team wanted me to advertise for them. So I advertise with them. I take it as a deduction. I'm always asking people that want money from me, how can I make it a deduction? So can you do some kind of advertising for me? Now, I have not figured out how to make my church tithes a tax deduction. Though we are starting a ministry that is a school that's focused on evangelism, education, and entrepreneurship. So that will be a deduction for me because I will have that school advertise for me. So does that make sense, guys? All right. So if you're going to travel around in a motorhome, you do have to have a primary home, or you are considered to be a nomad. Okay. All right. Next is the Airbnb vacation home, because guys, I like to have real estate, right? It's what I do. I have lots of real estate. We flip houses. We have long-term rentals and we have short-term rentals. So I usually will find an Airbnb at a place I like to go because I want to go there, work on the house, and take it as a tax deduction. Also, because it's nightly and I am the one that is managing it. And that's a whole nother tangent. You only have to manage it the first year to get the most tax deduction. But anyways, that's another tangent. So I have an Airbnb. This is my daughter. She's out fishing. This is the tax deduction for us in 300 days of the year, or 340 days of the year. But on the days I want to go to it, then I will just adjust off the days I went. All right. So totally amazing tax deduction. Plus, I can go there and stay and not adjust it if I'm working on the house, which I'm always working on these darn houses because we flip houses. some of you guys are very hands-off and you don't do anything on your real estate, but me and my husband do a lot with our real estate, and we're real estate pros as well. So, okay, next. How many of you said you want to learn to pay tax like Trump? Whether you like him or not, you're like, let's pay tax like Trump. All right, nobody's saying anything. The Airbnb is a separate business. Yep. All right, let's figure out how to pay tax like Trump, because I mean, everybody should want to pay no taxes because you pay lots of other taxes. And if you want to give a donation to the government, it is totally okay to do that. All right. So first you got to hire a tax strategist. Now, that's what Trump has. He has lots of strategists. Wealthy business owners have a team of tax strategists. You just need one, constantly looking for tax deduction credits that they qualify to take. The tax law changes sometimes weekly. Most accountants don't even know this. Most people definitely don't know this. But Congress is constantly in session coming up with grand ideas to change the tax law. And I don't care who is in control. They're always changing it. You only know about the credits and deductions that make the news. Why doesn't my accountant do all of this? Because there are literally thousands of tax laws. And guys, they literally are just trying to get your tax returns done on time. Let's be real. That's a lot. All right. So then second, your tax strategist is going to create a tax strategy plan for you. Tax strategy is just like everything else. You have to have a plan to start. It is crucial that you as the client knows the plan and you have a choice in the strategies that are being implemented. You don't want somebody creating strategies for you and not knowing what the crap's going on and you're just blind to it. Okay. So you need a plan. You can't build a house without a plan. You can't build a business without a plan. You have to have a plan. All right. Next, you got to implement the plan. So a lot of you might have seen the Facebook advertisements to that guy off of, what's that show called? Shark Tank. He has a tax strategy firm. All they do, and every other tax strategist in America does, is they create a plan. What good's a plan going to do? And they charge like $20,000 for a tax strategy plan. Well, then they're like, here you go. Here's your plan. Go have someone implement it. There's nobody to implement it. We are the only firm in the country that actually implements the tax strategy that we talk about. Other tax strategists give you a plan of what you need to do, and then they say, here you go, go implement it. That's why a lot of you have heard about hiring your kids, but you've never done it because it's a lot of work, right? So you end up paying for a plan, and that sounds great, but it's useless. So what strategies are implemented in the offer? An accountable plan, the Augusta rule, the SEP 401k calculations, paying your kids, the reasonable comp, the S-Corp. How can I deduct that? The how can I deduct that? The expenses, the additional expenses. Guys, I used to have my mules on there. I'll tell you about those in the how can I deduct that monthly calls if you join. But I toned it down a little bit because a lot of people don't know I like guns and mules. So I just have to make sure that you guys get the things that are very toned down because I use my mules in my advertising as well. Okay. All right. Then after all of that, you also need someone continuously looking for more strategies because those above were all the strategies that pretty much everyone qualifies for. But for instance, Nick has real estate, right? So he's going to need some cost segregation, whereas somebody else might need some research and development credit. Maybe you've got a software you're building. All right. So the initial plan will be for your first strategies that are implemented above. And then from there, you constantly need someone that's looking out for you for more strategies because it's a treasure hunt. It really is. The tax law is seriously, you're constantly looking for what you qualify for. So like last week, we got one of our clients ERC credit for like $1 million, $1,060,000. Okay. there's so much you can do, but you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? All right. So these are the other strategies we look for. America with Disabilities Act tax credit, employee retention credit, small business health insurance credit, ESOP credits, fringe benefits, work opportunity credits, cost segregations, R&D credits, and a zillion more. There are literally thousands of things that you can do. So let's see this in action. Tax strategy consolidation. This is where you're actually putting two strategies together. I should have had this one before the anyways, buying a piece of real estate, doing a cost segregation, and renting it back to the business to maximize savings. The Section 199 optimization, where you calculate your return sometimes 53 times to get your tax savings right to the penny, where your income tax and employment tax is maximized. Charitable trust, where we can pay out wages back to the owner if needed. Maxing out retirement plans and backdoor Roths. MERPs with family management companies. Real estate with opportunity zones. Section 1031 with cost segregation. That you a lot of times will use multiple strategies to do one to give you the most tax savings. Okay. All right. Now let's see this in action. So this was a client that we have, and the client made $569,131 of net income. The tax bill was $176,700. She had $69,000. How can I deduct that deductions? $36,000 in hiring the kids deductions, $12,000 in the Augusta roll, $125,000 on cost segregation on an apartment, $60,000 on farm and hunting land. This receives income from another business. $25,000 Airbnb self-rental for business and rented to others, $26,733 in Section 199 optimization, $100,000 in charity set up and funded, which she has total control over, and her tax bill was $9,167 after we got done with strategy. They also qualified for R&D credit and ERC, which we're currently working on. So that will mean she will actually get a huge refund, but this was just on her tax return. Those credits are done after the fact, and we are working on those right now. So I want you guys to submit your tax savings. Now in the bottom, it was, how can I deduct that? So you guys, I told y'all a few of the things that you could deduct, like your motorhome, the Airbnbs, the other things that you can think of that you could probably make into a tax deduction. So put those on the bottom, and then I want you to hit next and submit. I'm going to take this jacket off because it's really warm in here. But can you guys click next and submit and tell me in the chat what your total tax savings was? All right, next, 62,481. Who else? Anybody else doing? Are y'all still here? Did I talk too long? Anybody else? 15,815. Alicia, did you leave me? 20,930. Okay, 18,231. 38,950. Don't worry about it, Alicia. I just am trying. 20,000. Awesome. Okay. So that's how much your tax savings are based on what we did. So the brainstorming is like the things that you right now are not deducting, but that you're like, how can I deduct that? So like that was back, I usually have people put those in back there, but that was like the Airbnb, the motorhome, the vacations that are workations, the other expenses that you probably can make into business expenses that you're not making into a business expenses right now. And if you guys don't have, yes, a dollar value. And if you guys don't have anything, so Alicia, the travel and meditation retreats, we would figure that out on the how can I deduct that monthly calls, like how to, because I would need more information. So you're just putting in there like what you think could be. This isn't 100%. Yeah, you could put that in there. Okay. This is just like this is just an activity to see some fun things. All right. So do you mind if I show you how to make all that savings a reality? Does anybody want to know how to do this without having to do it all yourself? Awesome. Okay. So this is what we just went over. This is the implementation of paying your kids, the S corporation. How can I deduct that? The Augusta rule, retirement planning, accountable plan. What if we did all of that for you and you just felt the tax savings, but didn't have to do anything? So this is the offer. Personal tax strategy plan. We want to make sure that you are set up for success from the beginning. So we create a tax strategy plan for you so that you know what will be implemented. Then we do done for you implementation. So all the things that we said you would have to do on your own, including on the accountable plan, the monthly reimbursement reports, the mandated amendments, your operating agreement, all the things, we do that for you. We also do the Augusta rule implementation, which is the comparison report, the invoices needed for support, and the 1099. We also do the family management plan implementation, which is setting up the family management plan, the EIN, the contracts, all of the things. We also do the hiring your kids implementation. So including the payroll reports, the 944, the W-2, the contracts, all the things to hire your kids. We also do the S-Corp election, the annual, if you need one, the annual reasonable compensation calculation implementation. So that's my 4-factor calculation that I created during my time at the IRS to prove the reasonable salary in order for you to have the most tax savings. We also do the done for you retirement plan options and implementation. So that includes the tax savings calculations and helping you set up the plans you choose. We also have how can I deduct that monthly group coaching calls. So that is where I put on my thinking cap and you come with things that you want to deduct. And we sit and brainstorm as a group on how to make those a tax deduction. That could save you literally a ton of money by itself. I mean, I can get really silly and really come up with creative ways to write off lots of things. We also do the done for you, how can I deduct that implementation, which is us keeping track with you of all the things that you remembered throughout the year that you want to make sure that you get on your tax return. Binder, including all of your contracts, amendments, and other documentation to start the strategies. An annual report, including all the support for your strategies, because the number one thing in an IRS audit is that you don't have the support. So we send you out a binder with all of the contracts amendments at the beginning in the setup to do all of the support. And then we send you annually a report that includes all the documentation, like the invoices for your Augusta rule, the 1099 copies of your 1099s and your W-2s and your logs for your kids and all the things that you need to give this to the IRS if it's ever requested. Now, obviously, most people never go through an audit and you can deduct anything until you get audited. But we want to make sure, because we include audit defense, that we have everything to prove this in an audit. All right. So if you ever are audited, we also include audit defense, where I represent you and make sure the IRS has all of the documentation needed to support your deductions, because that is super important. We also do so a lot of you might be thinking, okay, how does this get from you to our tax preparer? So we do an easy report, which we provide to your accountant. This one-page report ensures that the accountant can include all of these things on your return in less than 1 minute. Now, that all sounds great, right? There's more, but what is that worth to you? If we do all of the strategies, implement everything for you, and that's all we did. Anybody? What's that worth to you? Are y'all still with me? Did I lose everybody? No one's talking. I can't even guess. Okay. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. All right. Well, you just did your tax savings calculation, and that was just on 4 strategies. So you know what your savings is from that. So my philosophy is the government should pay for your tax strategy. Like, what if I cannot save you way more than it costs to hire me, then you don't need me, right? The government, until you're big enough to be able to pay for tax strategy, you could probably DIY everything, even your tax return. Because once you start making money, you literally you're literally start paying so much tax that you could pay for a tax strategist. Okay. So this is the total price. It's 2022 tax strategy implementation, because that's the year we're in. You can't do tax strategy going backwards. It just doesn't work that way. Tax strategy is for the current year. So you guys being on this call, you may have been thinking, oh, I need 2021 help, but you really need 2022 help, because you cannot do strategy in January, February, March of the next year. Your strategy starts now. All right. So this all includes your 2022 strategy implementation. So if you're starting in March, you still get January and February strategy, because this is for all of 2022. The full pay discount, and that's $9,000, which is $750 a month. Okay. Now, if you want to pay in full and you're like, I don't want to pay $750 a month, I would just rather pay it now because it is a fully tax deduction, then it is $7,500. Some of you guys have a tax rate of 30 to 50%. So really this only costs you about $5,000, even less for some of you because your tax rate's so high. Okay. You get to take this as a deduction. So it's pretty much, you get a discount on it. Now, many of you have your own accountant. So you can keep your own accountant if you want to, or you also, no matter what, you get $500 in credit to spend with Carlotta Thompson and Associates. So this offer is Tax Strategists of America, which is my company focused on tax strategy. That is all we do here is tax strategy. It is very data driven. This is not an accounting firm. It is a tax strategy firm focused on helping you pay the least tax possible. Now, why do I have two firms? Because you remember when I told you that I was the accountant and I was like, I think you should be able to do tax strategy and taxes and accounting all in one. Well, I did that for 4 years until this last couple of months, I split them out. Because what I found was happening in my own firm when this was my focus and it was happening was we would do tax strategy, but it was always like last minute. We made sure everything was done monthly that needed to be done monthly, but it was almost like it became like a headache for our strategists. And I wanted it to be like something exciting, like everybody really cares more about the strategy than they do the tax. But the strategy is what they want and the tax is what they need. And what do you think wins out whenever you're like, I really need my tax return done by blah, blah, blah date because IRS wants it. And I really want tax strategy, but I know there's no deadline. Now there's deadlines internally for us, but I'm telling you, it was always this back and forth, like which one wins out. So we split the two into two separate companies so that our company here, Tax Strategists of America, which is who is offering this product, is only focused on tax strategy. Then we partner with other accounting firms, and they also know about this, can answer questions, but their focus is on taking our easy report, putting it on the return. But it's our easy report so easy that literally any accountant can do it. So you get a $500 credit to spend with Carlotta Thompson and Associates. This is the last webinar where you will get the credit to spend with Carlotta Thompson and Associates, because now we actually have 150 accountants wanting to partner with us. Okay. So Carlotta Thompson and Associates, well, this $500 credit will actually be a credit to any of our partners. So I just want you to know, if you're like, but I want in Carlotta's business, well, you've got the $500 credit. And to work with Carlotta's business, you have to have a package. So this is actually the gateway in. All right. Okay. So what about the bonuses? Because, well, no offer is amazing without bonuses. So you remember whenever I said that your tax strategy should be like a treasure hunt. You're always looking for more, right? So a team, one of the bonuses is a team focused on continuously finding you more strategies you qualify for and alerting you. We call these treasure hunts. And the treasure hunts are done sporadically throughout the year. And what we do is data gathering. And we say, okay, this treasure hunt, we're going to focus on these couple of strategies. And we're going to pull in the data and we're going to say, okay, Nick, you qualify for this strategy. This is what it would do. This is what it would save you. And sometimes we will implement that for free if it doesn't take very long. Or sometimes it will cost, because like a cost segregation, we have to pay for. You qualify for it, but we have to have someone come in and do that. Now, actually, we get those at a very reasonable price, but we still have to do the work. Okay. Like R&D credit, we have to go out and we have to partner with engineers to do that. So we're an accounting firm, we're not an engineering firm. So some of those that we actually have a large expense in, that will be like, this is how much it saves you, this is how much it costs you. But some of those will be like, it saves you this much and the cost is zero. Does that make sense? Hopefully so. Also, we want to make sure that you understand what you're paying for. So not what you're paying for, what you're implementing. So we've got the tax course, and this is a course that I think every one of you should take, whether you buy this or not. Guys, this course is $497 and it's worth every single penny of it. If you're trying to find things for last year that you didn't know that were a deduction, this course has a brainstorming section in it that's amazing. But it also goes through all these strategies a little bit more in depth. So we want to make sure that you guys know what you're doing, because taxes are scary. And I think that it's important for you to be educated on what you're doing and not just like letting someone take it away from you and do it for you, right? Like I want to do it for you, but I also want you to know what the education is behind that. Also, we have a community called Wealth Warrior, because guys, we're not all about like saving taxes and not doing anything with it. Like our whole goal is to grow our wealth and grow it tax-free. So Wealth Warrior is really our community that's focused on tax-free wealth. Okay. So you'll get some cool swag, and that there will be a community there that is totally focused on the tax-free wealth side of things. I don't know if I missed, but you also get the How Can I Deduct That monthly calls. So you also have a community there as well. Okay, so this is a fast action offer. If you purchase tonight, you get a complimentary 1 hour tax strategy planning with me. So this is after your tax strategy plan is done and you're like, but Carlotta, I've got some other things I want you to look at. I am not available, guys. Like obviously my focus is on the tax strategy, data collection and implementing all of this. So obviously I'm not trying to take 4,000 calls, right? So this gets you a call with me, and you get to be on with me and we can talk through your situation. All right. So that's if you purchase today. I usually will do something like, something that's like money off, but I mean, people can take it or leave it. Some people don't even want to talk to me. So if you don't want to talk to me, great. You can just buy it 3 days from now. All right. So you get a full pay discount if you pay in full. So it's $7,500. With that, you get all the tax strategy implementation. You get the $500 credit with Carlotta Thompson Associates. You don't have to use it for tax prep or bookkeeping. You can use it to talk to one of our tax strategists. You can use it for calls throughout the year. You can use it for anything you want to. It's lots of consulting we do over there. So anything you want to use it on. And you get the full pay bonus, you get the $500 credit with me, and you get the 1 hour with me if you purchase by tonight. And okay, so let's recap. Your tax savings is what, just based on 4 strategies, you've got the calculation of what this is. Now, no, the bonuses are not for, yes, you pay, Amanda, you can pay by the month. It's just $750 a month. You get all the bonuses. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. So I've given you the offer. It's pretty much us doing everything for you. Giving you all the things, making this super easy for any accountant to implement in less than a minute. And guys, I'm just going to say, do y'all want to hear from like people that actually use us so you can know, like, is this girl legit? I'm going to ask, my friend Brooke is here. She just happened to walk in and she's a client and she's probably going to be like mad at me because I asked her to get on this because she was not expecting to get on here. But Brooke, like, are we worth it?
She's so legit, y'all. We have had a business for several years. The last 2 years, when we have used Carlotta's tax strategies, all these strategies she just showed you, we have paid zero tax. We just sold our business in January, and because of strategy, we will not pay any capital gains tax this coming year. No tax, legally.
Yeah,
totally legally. Carlotta is amazing. Everything she says is legit, and she just wants the best for you and your family.
All right. Oh, thank you. I know you weren't expecting me to call you up, but like, guys, I don't care if you buy or not. It really doesn't change my life whatsoever. I mean, y'all really want to know. I live in a 700 square foot shack. It used to be 500 with 5 people and a dog. We're building a house. So no, I'm not really, I mean, my renters live better than I do, but I want you guys to know, like, this is my mission. I want to save you money because if I save you money, it means you can go out and change the world because you're an entrepreneur. Like, that's how you're wired. I mean, God made you like that. And if you don't believe in God, like, something made you wired to give and give and give. And I would rather you give to something that you care about than giving to the government. Because, I mean, like I said, if you really want to give to the government, just give them a tip. I mean, most of the people say no to the $3 presidential election campaign. So I don't think you guys want to tip them. Anyways, okay, so let's go forward. All right, so this is what other people said. This was actually this morning. This made me actually, Joni Rell said this morning. Scott says every day, best decision ever in hiring your firm. We only wish we could have started with you all sooner. Guys, I about cried this morning when she said that. That was crazy. Laura said, if you own a business and Carlotta's team isn't taking care of your tax strategy, then I can already tell you they paid too much or didn't get enough back. Her team is amazing, and I'm so grateful she puts up with me. Katie said, every other accountant I've ever known is such a loser compared to you. And then Stephanie said, I second that. So guys, like, I don't think accountants are losers. I'm just saying, like, they don't have time, and you guys need a strategist, and not just any strategist, but a tax strategist that actually implements. And I know our firm is the only one that's doing that because I created it, and I've looked and I've looked and I've looked to try to find other firms that do it, and there aren't any. Okay. So, more people saying, you guys can go to the website. You can see what all the people are saying. Like, I don't show you guys this to brag. I show you because you need us. All right. So more testimonials. But if you want in, you go to taxstrategiesnow.com and that will get you started. All right. You can full pay. You get all the bonuses no matter what. The difference is when you full pay, you save $1,500. So it's $7,500 full pay, $750 a month. All right. Now, it's warm in here. So you did the calculation, guys. So you know if this is worth it. If it makes sense, I suggest getting it because it's only going to go up in price. Like, this isn't coming down. We're not doing this cheaper because it's a lot of work. It's there. That's why nobody's doing it, because it's a lot of work. How many times do you buy something you will never use? How many times have you guys bought something you'll never use? Are you guys still with me? I don't even know if anyone's still here. Have you guys bought stuff that you've never used? There's actually no way to use this unless you just don't file taxes. Even if you die, like, you're going to use this because you're going to have to file taxes for 2022 because you lived in 2022. There's no way not to use this. I know that's kind of morbid. All right. So will tax strategy make my return look like I don't make money? Yeah, because you want it to. But what will the bank say? Yeah, bankers don't care if you don't pay taxes. You do add backs, just like you do whenever you sell a company. You just have to show them the add backs that were personal things that you turn business. What about tax law changes next year or 5 years from now? We don't care because we're only worried about what's happening this year. And a lot of people in the politics, they'll say they're going to do all these things differently, but really they don't, because they want us to have money. They want us to spend our money the way they want us to spend it. Do you really think they're going to quit allowing depreciation on real estate? Then none of us would buy real estate. They're not doing that. Like, they come up with some of the craziest ideas. Really, they're only going to look for more income to tax you on. So the real things they're doing are they're going to start having Venmo find your more income. They're going to start having PayPal look for things over $600. They're going to start having your bank look for income you're hiding. Like, that's what the government is focused on. They're actually focused on finding income. That's the number one focus. So while you hear all these things about what they might do to cut our expenses, guys, they're not doing that stuff. Because if they do, they'll replace it with something else. All right. So what happens after the first year? This is an annual plan. So you will be renewed for this is annual. It'll just renew, and we'll still do the same things for you next year. Obviously, as your business grows, we're going to be finding you more strategies. Now, guys, this is a monthly, like, it's not like we do this once a year and it's done. I want you guys to understand the things that we're doing every month is a lot. Like, every month, I can pull up what we do every month. It's on the sheet, but like, let me just see if I can find it right quick. I don't even know the best place to look. I'm going to say it's probably right here. Okay. So, yeah, I am totally pulling up our Canva account because that's the closest place I know to find this. So I want you guys to know, like, this is what this is the plan, but this is the timeline. Okay. Like, this is what we're doing every month. So like February, March, April, like, you can see we have a whole list. So this isn't just like one thing, something you buy one time. Like, you have to continuously do these things. Right now, what will next year look like? The offer may be a little different. We may offer more because we don't have to do as much setup. We may offer it for a less price. We may offer more strategy. Guys, I'm going to be really transparent. I just split this out for my accounting practice in January. Okay, so I don't know what next year holds, though we will offer the same. There will be more strategy. There will be more opportunity to save more money, or the cost will go down to take care of that second year. I just don't know the offer yet. I barely have this offer created. So I want you guys to know we've been doing this for years in our own accounting firm, but this is the first time we've ever split this out. And like I said, we have 150 accountants looking to partner with us. Okay. That is just from the past month. So I don't know, but what I do know is, guys, I do everything to serve with all of your heart, and you will always have abundance. My intentions are very, very real. I just trying to create something to help you guys. So I don't know all the answers, but I do know whatever it is, it'll be epic, because I'm all about making sure that people save a ton of money. But either way, you will still need the same thing next year and the year after and the year after, because you have to continuously do all this record keeping every month. Okay. So we do all that for you every month. It's like almost like a monthly job in itself, if that makes sense. All right. That's why your accountants can't do it, because they have a job, and then they're having to do all these calculations and all this stuff, invoices for your Augusta support, labor logs for your FMC. How can I deduct that calls? Sending out surveys, accountable plans. Like, guys, this takes time. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's a whole job. Okay. Do we have any affiliate programs? We are creating an affiliate program. Kendra, you can join our group, Tax Strategists of America. What is it, Savannah? You can send her to it. Becca, yes, it's per year. I mean, the work is per year. Like, you can get out after the first year if you want to, but the tax savings wouldn't be there if you don't. Like, there's things you have to do monthly, right? Like, it's not just a one-time thing. Like, this will get you through 2022, But if you want to save in 2023, well, you're going to have to do the same things. You're going to have to do it yourself. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right, guys. What other questions do you guys have? Put them in here and I'll make sure I answer all of them. I want to stay until you guys get all your questions answered, so I can make sure. Yes, you can definitely also hire us, Barbie. As you know, nobody gets to hire us very much anymore, but this gives you the option to also work with us. Now, it won't be me. Obviously, I have a team of 25 people, but it will definitely be our Carlotta Thompson Associates team that's right here in Risen. So, it's warm in here. What else, guys? What other questions do you guys have? Yes, Nick, we do a referral credit for sure. Jennifer, what's your strategy calculation tell you you're going to save? Nick, what I would suggest is reaching out to me on Facebook and let's set up your referral link. Okay, so Christina, just so you know, this is very data driven. So I am actually the one looking at all the data, because I can look at this overall and say, okay, this person needs, so just so you know how this works, the first strategies, everyone, I set you out a strategy plan and I say, are you cool with us doing all of these? And you say yes or no. Okay. And hopefully you say yes, but some people would say, I really might not want to hire my kids because I'm in a divorce, and maybe the other person would have a problem with you hiring I don't know. I mean, I could come up with all kinds of things, but anyway, so from that, we do all of those strategies and we say, are you cool with us implementing this? And we implement all those. So this is not one-on-one strategy like us talking to you one-on-one. This is data driven. So we're going to ask you things in a survey and we're going to say, okay, this is the things you need. This is not, that's why we're partnering with other accounting firms. And that's why you get the $500 credit to spend with Carlotta Thompson Associates, because if you need one-on-one, that's where you would do that, because they're tax strategists too. The only difference is this is the implementation portion. And that's what most people need, is the implementation. They don't need to just talk about it. So we're finding you everything you need. We have monthly calls with you, the group coaching calls. We have monthly calls with you. And if you have questions, that's where you're going to bring those. But this isn't like one-on-one, you get like a personal tax strategist, because we're doing this. It's the only way we're able to offer this at this price is because it is very data driven, and I'm able to pull everything and say, okay, you qualify for this. Let's get that implemented for you. Because it is a lot of work. When I say, guys, there's a reason my accounting firm did not do the best as far as profit margins go. And it's because of this package, because this takes a lot of time to implement. That's why no other accountants do it. It's not because they can't, it's because it's not a very high profit margin. So we have to really do it at scale in order for this to make sense for people. And then that's why we offer the $500 credit. So you can work with our tax strategist if you have additional questions. You can also use that for a call with me. If you really want to call just me and you one-on-one, I'll sit down with you for the hour. But if you're like, okay, Carlotta, I really want some more access to you, then we can do that with that $500 credit too. Also, the monthly calls are with me. And so if you come and ask your questions, and you can like submit them ahead of time, like if you are like, well, I mean, guys, a lot of people think that their situation is so much different than everyone else's, when really it's just, you all need these same strategies, but the treasure hunt strategy, some of you will just qualify for and some of you won't. That's why we don't include all of those strategies in implementation too, because then this would be a $30,000 package because you would be paying for cost segregations when you don't even have a house, or you'd be paying for, meaning you would be paying for cost segregations when you don't have a rental house, or you'd be paying for, R&D credit when you don't have a software. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Thank you, Nick. We'll get to you. Yeah, Amanda, you should definitely do that. Okay, so Amanda, do the calculation spreadsheet. Jennifer, did you do the calculation spreadsheet? And guys, I'll if you guys will do the calculation spreadsheet, and Amanda, we can also, like, part of it's not in the package, it's not included because many people already have an LLC, but on our onboarding call with the credit for Carlotta Thompson Associates, we can use that credit to set up your LLC and everything. A lot of people that came in last month are doing that. We would be glad to help you with that. So if you do that calculation, you'll see how much this is going to save you, though. What other questions do you guys have? I want to make sure I'm staying and answering all of your questions and helping as much as possible. Christina, it works if you're filing under your personal number as well. Nick, that would definitely be, we could definitely do that with that $500 credit. We could definitely help you with that too. And Nick, you bought today. I think you said you bought today. So we would definitely go over that in your 1 hour strategy session. And I would tell you what all you needed for that. So I'm thinking like, so first year is going to be really focused on the core strategies, and then the treasure hunts. And then next year you could probably do more intense strategies. So we may like offer more time with our strategists, because we are bringing in some more strategists too, to do like more hand holding. But guys, like I said, I will make sure that you guys are served at the highest level, because literally I get on calls and still do tax returns on TurboTax for people for free because God tells me to. So I don't want you guys to like think that that's what, like, I just want you guys to know my heart. Like, I just want to serve people and love on people and help as much as possible. So I can't be with everyone all the time, but I do make sure that people are taken care of, because this is my ministry. It started, I don't know if I told y'all this early on, but this started actually as a ministry while I was an IRS agent, because I was like, so you guys know, like Dave Ramsey, he does stuff in the church. And I was like, man, I wonder if I could like help people save taxes in the church, because I couldn't charge anything. And so I would run business owners' lives all day long. And then at night, I would help business owners that were in our church save money on taxes, and so that they could give more back. And that ministry became my business as I left the IRS. So I just want you guys to know, like, my intentions are pure. I love taxes. I don't know anyone that loves learning about taxes more than me. And you guys need my eyes on it. So that's why I've made it where it's very data driven. So I can say, okay, this, like, I would put myself up against anyone as far as tax strategy goes in the country, because my brain just thinks like that. And so I know that people need my eyes on it. And the only way I can do that is really focus on like being very data driven. Yeah, Nick, I'm sure you will. I love it. Like, and also like Jennifer, it's extremely fascinating. I don't know. I have lots of stories from the IRS, and I wish people used it as a tool and not like being scared of it. And not a lot of people online like want to push these weird tax strategies that will put you in jail. Like, I'm not doing that. Nobody's worth going to jail for, but I want you guys to know, like, be very careful of who you hire to do strategies, because as you grow your business, like, you'll hear some really weird stuff that I just tell you, like, that's ludicrous. Do not do that. This is the IRS code on it. Like, we're not doing anything that's not 100% legal, and it's in the code. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Yeah, like, it's not scary. You just need someone to represent you that's not afraid of the IRS. And guys, it's scary. Like, literally, I tell the stories about that guy wanting to kill me and those people killing themselves because there is so much fear. Like, don't be scared. Your accountant, though, acts like that's why I'm partnering with accountants, because I don't want them to be scared either. That was the biggest problem in audits, is that accountants were fearful of the IRS. So they would literally just you would go through the audit and they'd be like, oh, just disallow that, disallow that, disallow that. And I'm like, if you would just do your job and help your people recreate records, or, look at the co-enroll or whatever, like, you could save your people a lot of money. But my job as the IRS agent is not to come in here and do strategy for your clients, though I did many, many, many times. But accountants act like they're just terrified. They're terrified. And so I want to work with other accountants too, to help them not be terrified, because, like, this is so much bigger than just me. This is so much bigger than just my several hundred clients. Like, this is more about having a world effect on people to help them know, like, it's like, taxes suck if you're paying a lot of taxes, but taxes aren't bad if you're using them, because there's actually credits that you can get that help you pretty much not pay tax at all if you're doing the things that the government wants you to do. And they're good for you too. I mean, I love real estate. I love to travel, but I also use this to my advantage. So, Amanda, yeah, you need this. So look, yeah. You see, that's what I'm saying. You're paying $15,000. You're going to save $15,000. You got some kids, so therefore you need this. Like, guys, I made that calculator because I wanted it to be so simple. And that's not even all the strategies we implement, but there's not close to any of the ones we find for you. But it's a starting point, so you guys know, like, that it's safe to do this, and you'll see a tax advantage to it. Yeah, Jennifer, definitely. Oh, I love that. My husband is a emergency room RN that's a travel nurse, which he's not even, we retired him right before Corona, but now he just, I say retired him, like, before Corona, when he was an RN, he worked 100 hours a week being an RN and being a house flipper and focusing on our real estate. So he would literally work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the emergency room, and then would go work. He would, like, travel home, like, which he was an hour and a half away. He would travel to our nearest real estate he was working on. He would sleep on the side of the road, and he would work till 5 o'clock on the real estate. Then he would come home for a minute, maybe. Sometimes he didn't even come home. And then he would go back and work that night. So, right, like, February 19th, we retired him from nursing, not even knowing Corona was going to happen, right? Like, we didn't know at that point. It happened, like, it started on March 3rd or March 4th or something around here. So, Amanda, the daily price on the house, just use $500 if you don't know. That's cool, Jennifer. So Amanda, just use 500 since you don't know. It's not less than 500. Any other questions, you guys? Huh? Okay. Well, I'm going to stay here until you guys get off. because I want to answer all your questions. I want to make sure that you guys feel safe and that you know, like, this is just things that that you have to know as a business owner that you just, nobody tells you. Amanda. Yes, Amanda, we talked about that early on. Yep, thank you, Nick. I hope this has been very helpful to you guys. Even if you guys don't buy, like, that's okay. It's okay. I just want you guys to know this is out there. So you know, like, what to look forward to if you're in a business. If you don't buy this because you don't need it, definitely buy the course. But I'm telling you, if it saved you over $7,500, it's worth it. And it's not because I want you to pay me. I don't care. I want you to not pay the government and tip them, because I don't care if you like them or not. Like, you can tip them on your own. Don't do it because you don't know any better. If you rent your home, does the Augusta count? Yes. You're saying if you rent it too. So yes, it does. Thank you, Angie. Awesome. All right. Anybody else have questions? How can I serve you guys? Any other questions you guys have? What's holding you back from buying right now? What's your fears? What's keeping you from pulling out your credit card and saying, let's do this? That's what I want to hear. And guys, this is really to help me more than it, I just want to know, like, what your fears are, so I can make sure that I make you feel safe, because that's what I'm here to do. So what are your fears? Why are you not pulling out your card to purchase?
Allowing people to talk.
Okay. So, let me stop sharing. So this, Amanda, do you know that you can pay the $750 a month? Because you do want to get started as soon as you can for next year. So it may be smart to do the $750 a month, because we need to get your stuff set up as possible. Yeah. Yes, Amanda, this would definitely be smarter use of your money than to just hold it and think you're going to pay the government. Just go ahead. Like, not because literally, it's because I know I can save you that much. I don't want you to get another $15,000 tax bill. So everyone's waiting on their accountant for your tax bill, but you guys understand that whatever your tax bill is, if you have kids, like, that's not really what you're paying in tax. A lot of you guys get a lot of credits. So where I say I could save you 15,000 and you get your tax bill and it's 12, remember that you also get credits. So like, if I save you 15, that means you would get a refund, not pay. Like, does that make sense? Y'all guys understand what I'm trying to say? And plus, like, your husband or your spouse, if you have a W-2 job, like that, they took out taxes there. They took out, like, if you have kids, they take out that you get credits there. So when I say I could save you 15,000, like, you guys need to know what you're actually paying. And the only way to find that is to go to your 1040. Let me show you guys. Let me show you how to know what your real tax liability is. 40, 2022.
You might mention Jennifer how we deducted our dog for security for our farm.
Oh,
She said she had a dog.
So I took this out because some people ask me 47 questions about my mules, but so let me, like, your animals, one of the things that we do, you can do two ways. Like, one, if it's security, like, for instance, Brooke deducted an animal she purchased for security for her chickens because they wanted to keep the chickens safe from the critters. and there's actual tax law against this, like literally, guys, but no, you can't just deduct your pet because they're your friend. But also we deduct our mules. They're actually our mascots of how can I deduct that? And think about like the Budweiser horses. That's where I got this idea. The Budweiser horses, they have lots of Budweiser horses, and they don't, until like 3 years ago, they didn't even charge for you to have, like, for them to bring them to you. It takes like $10,000 a day to take their horses on tour, and they didn't charge for that because it's all advertising expense for them. But now they charge $3,500 to have an appearance. But where I'm going with that is my mules. So I bought 3 mules. I don't have 1,000 horses or mules like Budweiser has because I'm a much smaller business, but we use our mules in our advertising for how can I deduct that. So that's a couple of ways to do the animals. Okay, so I was gonna pull up, guys, I would not wait on what your actual tax bill is, because remember, this is for 2022, not 2021. And if you're in business, hopefully you're actually going to pay more taxes next year because you're going to grow. But I want to show you guys what your taxes are. Okay, so on this line, on line 24, it says this is your total tax. So sorry, that's your total tax after credits. Line 16 is your tax. So whatever is on line 16 is your total tax plus what is on line 23. So you need to have line 16 and 23, and that's your total tax. Okay. Now you can't add everything between 17 and 22 because those are your credits. So you need to add 16 and 23, and that's your total tax. So many of you will see, like, after you got your total tax, it takes off all the credits for your kids and all the things that, if you use this, would be refunded to you. Does this make sense? How are y'all all standing up? Let me move this back. Okay, guys, I'm gonna sit down so I can stay here and continue answering your questions. I'm good, I think. Okay. All right. Okay, Amanda. If you have any more questions, you can message me. Let me find my chat again. Okay. Jennifer, probably not unless you put him in your advertising, like more like be a face of your company, or you have something that really needs protected that's not your home, because your home is personal use. So like if you had something that needed protected that was a business asset, but I would say best case would be put them as your mascot. Oh, Jennifer, you asked that. Yes. If you use them in ads, for sure. Anybody else? What is your reason? Christina, I would say if you are just starting your business, you definitely probably need the tax course. Yes, Nick, as long as you use them and like constantly, and it was your mascot. That's what, like, that's the kind of brainstorming we do on how can I deduct that. Nick, did you sign up yet, Nick? Okay. Okay, yeah. I got you. I saw Allison, but it's Nick. So Nick, we'll get on the hour consultation, and we'll talk through all of that. So bring all your questions for sure on like what all you want to do, and we can do that. The tax course, let me show you. So the tax course, yes, Nick, for sure. You can definitely buy more time. You buy more time through Carlotta Thompson and Associates. So that's like you getting in here, you'll be in with Carlotta Thompson Associates. And you have a $500 credit. So that would definitely go towards that too. So that's the thing, like after this webinar, we won't be allowed, like we actually are having to cut off our inflow to Carlotta Thompson Associates because we can only take so many clients a year. That's why that's why another reason why we split this off, because we couldn't grow. So we couldn't reach as many people because that was very, like you can only do so many tax returns and bookkeeping. But when you collaborate with other accountants, then you can grow and you can help them too. So that's what we're doing. So you buying in on this one gives you access to Carlotta Thompson Associates, and you'll actually be onboarded with them as well. And you get a $500 credit. And like if you want to do your tax returns and your bookkeeping over there, this gives you the entryway for that too. Okay, so I was pulling up the tax course. So it's the taxcourse.com, Christina. And it's free for all of you who buy this, but I just wanted to give it to her, the link, because she's not ready for this. So this is all about that doesn't really show you. Let me show you. It's like where's the portal? Am I sharing my screen? Hold on, I'm pulling up the course. We're just moving over to the tax court, this membership site. So it would actually be on a different membership site that looks a little different, but this is what it includes. It's 3 secrets. It's different secrets than this, but it's like actual implementation secrets. Setting up your entity, how can I deduct that? Brainstorming, bookkeeping tips, advanced strategies 1, advanced strategies 2, and IRS audit domination. And each of them have videos and files and guides. So you can go through and do it, but that's all of the stuff that it talks about. So there's like 8 modules, and each of them have a guide and things. All right, guys, we got when's my next call? Okay, we've got 7 people left. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate people just getting the message. If you know anyone who needs tax strategy, please send them our way. If you're interested in being a referral partner, please let us know. We're always looking for people to just get the message out. Like I said, we're also working with other accountants to bring this message wider. So we're super excited super excited about all this, but anybody else have any questions that I can help you with?
Sorry, this is Rhonda. You had asked me to speak earlier, but I had to leave to go in a patient room.
Oh,
So I was wanting to see, because I missed a lot of the information, and I was wanting to see if there's any way I could watch the replay.
yes. We're going to send it out probably in a couple hours.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I don't know how to remute myself.
We'll do it.
Oh, there I see it. I got it.
Anybody else need anything? Any other questions? Okay, we're going to stop the recording and I'll give you